Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
This is Jean here, and I have my friend Colomba. You met her in our previous video. Colomba's visiting from Italy. Just a few little different things today. What I wanted to do, this is going to be a tutorial for my quilt that you've already seen. You've seen me do the mitering on it a couple videos back, and you've seen the whole video. So this is my, here, could you hold that, Colomba? This is my Southwestern quilt that I've made, and my last video, Colomba said we should do it in red binding because I hadn't bound the quilt, and so I did it in the red binding. So I'm going to show you some close-ups of this quilt that I've finished now. Oh, I wanted to, I seriously, you guys, I wanted to do a straight corner. I round my corners on my quilts. And I wanted to do a straight corner for you guys because I know it sort of looked like a rug. Everybody's like, oh, it looks like a rug. I get that. And I really was going to do a straight corner. What happened, unbeknownst to me, I completely messed up. On the one corner, my backing was too small. So I literally had to cut the corner to make the curved binding, the curved corner. Anyway, I wanted to, the best intentions were there, but I'm like, oh, straight corners are not for me. It seems curved corners. So anyway, this is my quilt, a tutorial to come up. It's long, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it in two parts. I've just been videotaping this over the last few weeks, because as you know, I'd hurt my back, so I worked on it now and again and whenever, but it's long. It's a very simple quilt. I don't want you to think this is complicated, but it's going to be in two parts, this video. So that's that. I'll put up some still pictures. That's my quilt. Now, I wanted to just tell you, I had told you that, oh, yeah, okay? Okay. Yeah, that Colomba had bought from Italy some beautiful handwork bits. Lace making?
Yes, making many years ago.
Just keep your voice up.
Many years ago, they used using to make colors. If you show
yes. Okay. Now, she bought me a whole bag. Yes. But I just wanted to show. I just picked out some of the more exquisite pieces. This piece here.
Our grandmother, the older people, they used to do it, in the column, the dresses.
This is all done by hand.
Or but done by hand under the candle. Imagine it's over 100 years.
100 years old with a candle. This beautiful now it's is it crocheted or lace?
It's crocheted.
It's crocheted.
All crocheted by hand.
All crocheted by hand. And again, as you can see, it was put together, stitched, but it would be put together to make a beautiful collar. Yes. The older Italian women.
Yes, they
would. So that's that Colomba bought me. These are beautiful handkerchiefs.
That is a story behind about these handkerchiefs.
What did you say?
It's a story behind.
There's a story.
Because when the people used to get married in Italy, they used to put confetti in it. They used to do all by hand. This is linen, very old linen. Put the diamonds inside, and that was present for the brides to give to the guests in the end of ceremony. That's a very beautiful one.
Isn't that beautiful?
It's very nice.
Oh, I wish you could see these, the most beautiful hand crocheted edging on these, and then beautifully, finely embroidered these little hankies. Absolutely beautiful. Beautiful hankies. We tend to think of maybe, you know, our moms or our grandmoms used to have hankies in their pockets. These are from Italy, done by they're very older Italian women, just beautiful, and Colomba's gifted me with these. This one is, as you know, I'm in my family room, but you've all seen my front room, and I have doilies and lace all over. That's why Colomba thought I would love it. Yeah, and look at this one. I have a whole bag, but this one is the finest, and this is like a silk. This is like a silk crochet. Yes. It's not like what.
Very fine knitting. It's a very small needle. Doing on the top of the finger, like this. Imagine used to do under the candle, these things.
Under the candle, under candlelight.
Now it's all finished. I don't make this anymore.
No, it's absolutely stunning. Now the one, oh, and this may just look like ordinary lace, but it's a lot of it. It's the finest of silk, the most gorgeous silk. Again, crocheted with a tiny little needle. beautiful. And I have some in my front room. One of my next videos I'll show you that it was almost, I think what they're called like almost bell pulls.
Yes.
They had it was a long bit of crocheted with a beautiful edge at the bottom. And I hung that over one of my pictures. Again, some beautiful, these are more like napkins.
They are napkins.
These are
very old napkins.
Very old linen napkins.
Linen, this is only made by hand when they used to serve in a dinner. That's the way the Italian used to use it. Line the table and use this beautiful linen.
When we were in London, beautiful. When we were in London, I went to Colomba's house. When we lived in London and Colomba lived in London. Colomba now lives in Italy, and the beautiful things that she served, with rolls and beautiful, beautiful things like this. Beautiful. People don't use these now. You know, we're more of like a paper plate and disposable cup society, which is fine. Everything has its place. Actually, we do too. But
it's nice to go back as the memories.
It really is. It really is.
It's nice not to let it die.
Exactly.
Because it's really value, it's a treasure for the young ones to know how you used to live.
Exactly.
That's why I brought it to you.
Yes.
It's very sentimental things.
Absolutely. And I appreciate it so much. Ian and I, we live with this in our home. And we understand that a lot of the kids now are very minimal.
Yes,
they just like very minimalistic. And I understand that. But for people like us, we're sentimental and we like all beautiful things surrounding us. And so Colomba, and then this bits of crocheting, actually it came with these two sort of mats, these two, but then 12 small round coasters that I have on my teacups.
Because I used to use it under the glass. When the people used to serve a glass of water,
okay, a glass of water,
we used to put this one round one underneath, put the glass.
Can you imagine? I mean, in everyday life, that's what they used. Wonderful. Now this is all hand embroidered, and again, you won't be able to see it, but the embroidery, the fine embroidery. I've done all sorts of embroidery. I've done candle wicking and embroidery and crewel work and needlepoint. The embroidery on this, it's like a cream on cream, is unbelievable. And then the fine crocheted lace here.
Very, very difficult to find, Jean.
Yes, very difficult. And
I've been very fortunate to find this beautiful piece for you.
Beautiful. I mean, it's just gorgeous.
My best friend, and
I know, and she's giving it to me. Isn't that wonderful? Now this piece, I was like blown away. This is a piece in silk with the roses. Look at that piece of lace. Now it's like an ecru looking color, and it has these beautiful roses on the border. Beautiful.
It's well finished, really.
It has a scalloped edge. It's just so beautiful. I said, I want to wear it. I want to wear it. I said, it's just so gorgeous, like a shawl. Beautiful lace. Beautiful. And it will go in my dining room, so beautiful. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. Say something.
Yes, it's been nice talking with all of you. It's been a pleasure with Jean to share these beautiful antique things together. And makes life go on. Not forget the past, because if we don't have the past, we don't have the future.
That's right.
All the best to all of you.
That's right. And we're enjoying our visit. Colomba's with me until the 16th of October. So we have lots to do, lots to see. But I just wanted to share that with you guys because I know you'll appreciate it. And say something in Italian. Everybody said, oh, I want to hear something in Italian.
È stato un grande piacere di stare qui con la mia amica e di condividere questi pensieri nel modo come noi vivevamo anticamente, ed è bello tenere questi ricordi, perché dove ci sono ricordi c'è anche un futuro. Grazie.
There you go. So that's that. I'm going to be putting up the tutorial and a few still photos of my quilt, and stay tuned for me and Colomba and whoever else. Jen's going to come, and we'll keep on this lovely friendship. Thanks so much, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao. This is the beginning of the project that I wanted to start making. I've actually made 2 or 3 of these Native American Indian looking quilts. And I have accumulated over the years all of these different fabrics, as you can see here, from different areas. Let me just move this around here. And as you can see, the majority of the colorways on these are the earth tones and the rusts, and the turquoise that you would think is like the Southwest. You have turquoise, and then you have fabrics here that have like a beaded print on them. As I said, I've been collecting these fabrics for many years now, and I have a really nice selection to choose from. Now, automatically, I have even some more over there that are a bit plain, but the beginning of my thought to make this quilt is I'm going to be cutting out 12-inch squares. Nah, 10-inch squares maybe. Yeah, maybe 10-inch squares. From 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 of these different fabrics. Now that will make the body of my quilt. 10-inch squares. Like how simple is that? But what I want to do is I want to audition the fabrics. Now this one immediately pops out. I love it. It's sort of like a Southwest pottery, but that's not the look I want. So I put that aside. Now this one is beautiful. It's a beautiful border print. Now I will probably be using something like this, one of the stripes, because I do get, when I get a stripe fabric, I do get length. I do get a bit of it because I can use the whole length. So the border stripe print right now, I will be putting to the side, although I like that. I'm just trying to see if there's another. Here's another one. Here's another border stripe print in the black and the burgundies. I mean the black, the red, and the brown, and the turquoise, which I like. It's a little bit bold. But again, I will be putting that to the side, my stripe. Now, I need 10 prints that I want to be making. I want to be cutting into 10-inch squares, which, as I say, will make up the body of my quilt. Now, as you can see, I have both the black and the more jewel tones, the orangey reds, the turquoises, and the golds, and then I have the brown family here with the tan and the brown. Now, I quite like that look with the tan, although I like this one also. But I think that's what's going to give me a little bit of contrast. Now this fabric here, that fabric here, sort of encompasses both. It pulls out this greeny turquoise of this black, but it pulls out the tan of this tan. So I like that one. So I have 1, 2, 3 that I've chosen. That's a stripe. This blue is a stripe, but I like that. And I might like isolate my 10-inch square, and I will show you how I isolate an image from this stripe. I like that one because that's really the turquoise. So I have 4. And then I'm picking, and then I'm going to be looking at again this one, which is more of the tan, pulling it, but the burnt orange and the turquoise. So I like that one also. Now, to you people who are a bit faint of heart, you might be thinking, oh, there's 10 or 12 or 13 or 14 very bold patterns that you put together. Well, the look I'm going for is almost, from a distance, which I've made before, like an Indian rug. And you will see it as it progresses. So you don't have to worry about it, just as long as it blends together. Now, my eye's drawn to this one, this turquoise. Again, it's sort of a stripe, but not. And I can isolate a 10-inch square from that one. Now, this is more of an all-over encompassing, all-over print encompassing the black here, the burnt orange of most of them, and then, of course, the turquoise and the green. So I like that one to cut a 10-inch square. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now I need 3 more fabrics. Let me see this one. This is a little bit different, but do I like that? I like that because it's a little bit quieter. It's just the rust and the turquoise, which I quite like. I quite like that. And then I just noticed it, I have that fabric in the tan and the turquoise. Again, keeping the tan, the creamy tan, along with the bolder fabrics to sort of quiet in the middle down. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This one I've used before, and I'll show you. It's almost like a chevron shape. I'll show you how I use that in another application on this quilt. I'll put that over here. Then I see I have this one, which is a nice bold stripe, and that brings in a little bit of the green, which I don't have a lot of, but I like that. I like that green. So I'll do that one. Now there's no rhyme or reason at this point how I'm doing it. I will just be cutting out my 10-inch squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh wait, 10. Oh, I have 10. Now do I want these? I'm going to go back and audition them. Do I want these 10? Do I have to stand back and look. Now I have this piece of fabric here, which I love, but I might put it in the border. I might put that in the border of my quilt. I'll see how it evolves. This one is a little bit, it's the colorway, but it's I only have a little bit of that left. It's a little bit too abstract. It's a little bit too abstract. So I won't be using that one. Won't be using that one. And this one, again, this has a stripe and a pattern, although I like that one. I like that one. I might substitute, as I look back, I look through the viewfinder, and I don't love that one. Don't love that one. And I think I do want to bring more of a pop of the more turquoise in. Yes. Yes, I like that one. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring my camera away. I'm just going to cut out 10-inch squares from these 10 pieces of fabric. I'm thinking I might want to do, I don't have a pattern, of course. I might want to do, let's see, 10, 20. Try to figure out how large I want to make the quilt. I don't want to make a huge, big quilt at this point. So I will just do, maybe I'll do 11-inch squares to make it, I'll see. I'll tell you, maybe 11, 22. I think I'm going to do like 11-inch squares. Again, it's just how I'm going to do it. So I'm going to cut out from my ruler. I'm going to go away. I'm going to cut out 10 11-inch squares from these 10 pieces of fabric. I have cut I actually used 11-inch squares, and let me just show you. I used this ruler, my OmniGrid ruler, and it just along with my cutting mat here, my Martelli, and I used this Martelli rotary cutter, which is awesome, because this mat has 10-inch and 12-inch. I just used this mat. This cutting mat, this OmniGrid ruler, it's a 12.5. I just lined up the 11-inch line and cut my 11-inch squares. Again, no rhyme or reason why I'm cutting 11-inch squares. I just thought I would like to. And in my auditioning my fabric process, you saw that I chose this black. I don't love it. Don't love it. It doesn't have enough, my fabrics don't have enough black in them. They truly are brown, the earth tones. So I'm going to leave this black here for another project. What I've done is I've cut my squares, and then I've, as you can see here, I've just refolded my fabric onto my boards just to keep track of what I have. Now I have cut 10 11-inch squares. Now what I'm going to do is, again, no rhyme or reason, what I'm going to put them together in a pleasing arrangement to my eye. And sort of by accident or maybe by design, I think I have like 5 light and 5 dark. Now, in no way are these like white and black. The value of them is more, if you sort of squint, that might be on the lighter side, that might be on the darker side. But they all sort of have that same look. but I'm going to put these together now. What I did do when I was cutting out my design, if you're doing any design, I was trying, I'm not perfect at all, I was trying to get the design of each of these designs. Let me see if I can put that, yeah, let me, in most fussy cut. Like that design is sort of in the middle. It's not perfect because some of these aren't, this isn't perfect over here, but this is what I've tried to achieve. My stripes are going straight. And again, I know that this is with the true grain of the fabric also. Here's another one, which I would deem a light, which I cut just, it's not perfect, but it's good enough. You see that design element there. Here's another one. I just took an extra moment to try to figure out cutting, like that's a little bit, I'm looking through it, it's a little bit skewed, but do you get the idea? So everything is fairly symmetrical because in Native American, I'm no way a Native American historian or whatever, but like their beadwork, obviously this is emulating beads, is very, very precise and very symmetrical, is that the word? Yeah. So like that stripe, I see like a beaded saddle bag or a beaded bag of some sort, or the bottom of a beautiful dress. This fabric is beautiful. What do I say? Let the fabric do the work. So here I have cut out my 11-inch squares. That one is more of an ICAD, or ICAD is what it's called, an all-over print, but I've sort of centered that darker square in the middle there. Here's this one again, sort of a fuzzy beadwork. Again, here's more of a weaving-looking fabric. Beautiful fabric. Why do I have to make anything complicated when the manufacturer's done this incredibly beautiful job? Again, I didn't have enough fabric, so I didn't center this on it. I just cut it like that. Now, what I'm going to be doing, let me pull my camera over here a little bit, is I'm going to now try to lay these out. And what I'm doing, again, I'm just going to do, I have 10, so it will be dark. I'm sewing 10 of these together, 5 down, 2 across. So now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be auditioning dark light, dark light, dark light. Okay? Let me figure this out. So like that. So then I'm going to do this. I may have to mess about with this because I'll just have to mess about with it. Now the stripes can go any which way. They can go any which way. They can go up, they can go down. Yeah, I might like that. But I do have only a few of these turquoise, and I want that to be spread throughout my quilt here. So what I'm going to do is, I have 2 more down here. So this is good. I'm going to put that there, but I do need some over here, don't I? So I'm going to put that one there. Again, I see dark light. It may not work out exactly right. Now this is a nice dark, but I'm going to do it this way. And again, you're going to see, absolutely you're going to see every one of these images. They are going to pop. Now, I see that I only have 3 left, and I have 2 dark and 1 light. But it's what is pleasing to the eye. So I'm going to do this one here, which is light, and then out of these 2, I see light. You may not, but I see light. So I'm going to put that there and that there. But I'm looking back and I'm thinking, that's a little bit too busy. So I'm going to mess with it. Again, obviously I'm just overlapping them. I'm going to mess with them. I might put, let me see. I might bring this one down here, as I deem that. Let me just see here. See, I don't want those 2 together. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mess with this. I'm going to, figure out my layout to the best of my, you know, to how I really like it. I'm going to figure it out. I want more, perhaps I want more of the real turquoise to pop out. So if you can just understand what I'm doing, these obviously aren't going to be on top of each other. They're going to be next to each other. And what I'm doing is I'm highlighting each of these prints in this, what's going to end up looking almost like an Indian rug, as I've said. So I'm going to do that. And now what I'm going to do, my next step, you'll have seen me sewing these 10 pieces together. This is the body of my quilt. I'm going to mess around with my thing that I'm pleased with, and I'm just going to sew 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and then sew the center seam together, and we'll have the body of our quilts. Here's my finished, my 10-inch pieces sewn together. And this is my design element. This is my design board that how I am pleased how they've come together. Now, as you can see, this is a longer piece, obviously, than it is wider. So now I'm going to put the I'm going to put a small border on the sides here, just to frame this. Probably just an inch, maybe 1.5 inches. I'll just cut some cut up some pieces. I just pulled this rust color from my solids there. So I'm just going to put a little piece, just small, to frame this center panel. But as you can see, that took me that took me half an hour. I cut 10 10-inch squares, and I sewed them together. Now, people, those of you who like quieter things, this may be a bit too much for you. My look here, see if I don't know if my camera will go funky. It might go funky. My look here is a very abstract. Now I better do it this way. I'm not quite sure with this camera. Is a very abstract but pleasing, coordinating design elements. So I have stripes going one way, stripes going another way, and it is sort of light dark to the, not to the nth degree, but as you can see. So I'm pleased with that. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put on a small, I'm just going to slice off some about 1.5 inch rust color borders, and put them on one on each side, and then on top and the bottom. And then I'll work my way out from there and see what I like. So here's my centerpiece of my quilt that has been bordered with this small rust color border. I cut it 1.5 inches. What I do, as you know, I don't measure a lot of things. It only took a few inches of fabric. I just cut off the width of the fabric, 45 inches. I cut off about 5. I sort of eyeball it, maybe 5 pieces, 1.5 inches wide by the width of the fabric, and I just sew them all together, end to end. I just go end to end, and then you start. I always sew my borders. This is a small inner border, of course. I always sew my borders. You sew the border on the top, always. So whatever you're sashing your border, you always sew it on the top of your quilt. That way you don't get wavy borders. And if you've been following along with me, you see I get no wavy borders, and you just lay that on. You don't pull at all. You don't pull at all when you're putting a border or a sashing on. You just lay it on carefully. I did the sides, the 2 sides, and then the top and the bottom. And that just gives my inner panel here a little bit of relief. Do you see that? To what I'm going to do next. Now this is obviously turning out longer than it is wide. There's no, and I don't know what I'm going to do now, but I'm going to go over to my fabric selection and see. There's no reason why you have to make all your borders the same size. Like you don't have to have, you know, like, oh, I have a 5-inch border over here. Well, you can have a 2-inch border on the top. No big deal. It doesn't matter. If it's going to be in your design, that's going to be in your design. So I don't know what my design I don't know what my design is right now. But there's my inner panel of 10 blocks, which the fabric is just fabulous. Now it may just look like now a bit of like a cacophony of design, but that's the look I want. I want your eye to rove all over this quilt. It's, and centering on the fabrics themselves, because to my mind this is art. This is art, and I've just put it together. The fabric designer has done the work.